Riley stands alone in the elementary school parking lot, his Spider-Man backpack resting against his ankles, watching the last silver minivan disappear around the corner. It's 4:47 p.m. on a Friday. The August asphalt radiates heat in waves that make the empty lot shimmer like water. He's been waiting for 73 minutes. What Riley doesn't know is that his mother isn't coming. What he doesn't know is that in exactly 3 days on his 8th birthday, over 500 motorcycles will converge on this exact spot. And what he definitely doesn't know is that the man watching him from across the street, a man with a graying beard and a Harley-Davidson Softail parked at the curb, is about to change everything. The man's name is Marcus Reaper Sullivan, president of the Iron Brotherhood Motorcycle Club, and he's been sitting there for 40 minutes. Riley doesn't cry. Instead, he pulls out a crumpled piece of notebook paper from his pocket, studies it for the 14th time, then carefully folds it back along the same creases. The paper contains 3 phone numbers, all disconnected. The school office closed at 4:30. The sun will set in 3 hours and 22 minutes. Marcus starts his engine. Marcus crosses the parking lot with his helmet under one arm, his leather vest, what the club calls colors, displaying 22 patches earned over 19 years. Riley looks up but doesn't move. Kids in this neighborhood learn early not to show fear, even when a man who looks like he's survived a war walks toward them. "You waiting for someone?" Marcus asks, stopping 15 feet away. He knows better than to approach too close. And the last thing this kid needs is another reason to be afraid. Riley nods. "How long you been out here?" "Since school ended." Riley's voice is steady, but his knuckles are white around the backpack straps. "My mom got held up at work. She's coming." Marcus glances at the school entrance. Through the glass doors, he sees the dark hallway, the turned-off lights. He's seen this before. 3 years ago. Different kid, different school. That time, he called social services and watched them load a 9-year-old girl into a system that chewed her up. He swore then he'd find another way. "What's your name?" "Riley Mercer." "Riley, I'm Marcus. I run the motorcycle club on Harrison Street. You know it?" Riley's eyes flicker with recognition. Everyone in South Oak knows the compound, the 3-acre lot surrounded by chain-link fence, with a garage with 6 bays, the clubhouse with its constant rumble of engines and music. The neighborhood considers it neutral ground. 3 years ago, the club broke up a human trafficking ring operating out of a massage parlor 4 blocks from the elementary school. The police made the arrests, but everyone knows who did the real work. "My mom says you're good guys," Riley says carefully. "Even though you look scary." Marcus almost smiles. "Your mom's half right. Look, it's getting late. How about we call her together? I got a phone." Riley's face does something complicated. Shame, fear, hope, calculation. He's too young to be this good at hiding emotion. The numbers don't work anymore. That confirms what Marcus already suspected. He pulls out his phone anyway. "What's your address? We'll head there. We'll wait for her at home. 742 Maple Court, apartment 3B. Marcus knows the building. Section 8 housing, 94 units, chronic maintenance issues. He types the address into his phone, then makes a decision that will later be called either reckless or heroic, depending on who's telling the story. "How about this? We go to my clubhouse, get you some dinner, keep trying to reach your mom from there. It's 2 blocks away, lots of people around. You can leave anytime you want. Sound okay?" Riley studies Marcus for a long moment. What Riley sees: a man old enough to be his grandfather, who waited across the street instead of driving away, who asked permission before helping, whose eyes look tired and kind in equal measure. And what Riley doesn't know is that Marcus lost his own son 12 years ago, an overdose at 23, and has been trying to pay that debt back ever since. "Okay," Riley says. Marcus nods toward the Softail. "Ever ridden on a motorcycle?" Riley shakes his head, and for the first time, something like excitement cracks through his careful composure. "Then today just got interesting." Marcus hands him the helmet. "This is non-negotiable. You wear it, I don't. Club rules when there's a kid involved." They ride 2 blocks through the fading golden light. Riley's small hands gripping the passenger holds, his backpack pressed between them. When they pull through the gates of the Iron Brotherhood compound, 17 men look up from various activities, welding, painting, 2 playing cards on overturned crates. In every single one of them clocks the kid immediately. Marcus parks and helps Riley dismount. Gentlemen, this is Riley. He's our guest tonight. Riley's mom got held up at work, so we're keeping him company and fed until we can reach her. Understood? The men understand what Marcus isn't saying. This kid is under our protection. Watch your language. Be careful. A man built like a refrigerator with a full Viking beard approaches. His name is Thomas Bear Kowalski, the club's sergeant-at-arms, responsible for security and what the club politely calls conflict resolution. He's 6'5" and has made grown men cry. He kneels to Riley's eye level. You like cheeseburgers, little man? Riley nods. Good. I'm about to make 7 of them. You can help if you want, or you can explore. Everything here is safe except the garage bay 3. That's where Crazy Dave is rebuilding a 1947 panhead, and he's real particular about people touching it. Got it? Got it, Riley says. Bear straightens and walks toward the clubhouse kitchen, over his shoulder. Hope you like pickles. I put a lot of pickles. The Iron Brotherhood clubhouse is not what Riley expected. Yes, there's motorcycle parts everywhere. Yes, there's loud music from a classic rock station. Yes, there's leather and metal and the smell of motor oil. But there's also a bookshelf with actual books, a bulletin board covered in photos of charity rides and community events, and a corner with a surprisingly comfortable couch where 2 men are arguing about football with the passion of religious scholars. Marcus leads Riley to a back office, a small room with a desk, a filing cabinets, and a window overlooking the garage. This is Command Central. We'll make calls from here. For the next 90 minutes, Marcus tries everything. He calls 742 Maple Court's building manager, who doesn't answer. He calls the superintendent's office, closed until Monday. He looks up Riley's school records, requires authorization he doesn't have. He tries the local hospital's emergency rooms, describing a woman Riley says is 31 years old, 5'4", with black hair, usually in a ponytail. No Jane Does matching that description. Riley sits across the desk, eating the promised cheeseburger, which Bear delivered with a mountain of fries, and yes, a lot of pickles. The boy doesn't ask questions. He just watches Marcus work with the focus of someone much older. At 7:15 p.m., Marcus makes the call he's been avoiding. No, Maria, it's Marcus Sullivan. I need a favor, and I need you to not ask certain questions yet. Maria Restrepo is a social worker with the County Child Protective Services. She's also Marcus's ex-girlfriend from 8 years ago. A relationship that ended amicably when she couldn't handle the club lifestyle, but never stopped respecting the man. She owes him 3 favors, one for the trafficking ring, one for information that stopped a foster home abuse case, and one for simply being a good man when she needed one. How unofficial are we talking? Maria asks. Completely. Silence on the line. Then, tell me. Marcus explains the situation, keeping Riley in his peripheral vision. The boy is now studying a framed photograph on the wall. The entire club, 53 members, posed in front of the clubhouse 2 summers ago. Riley's finger traces each face like he's memorizing them. Maria sighs. You know I have to report this if you officially involve me. I'm not officially involving you. I'm asking if you can unofficially check a name. Riley Mercer, age 7, lives at 742 Maple Court, apartment 3B. Mother is Cassandra Mercer, 31. I just want to know if there's any history, anything that would explain why she's not answering and why this kid looks like he's been raising himself. Another pause. Keyboard clicks. Then Maria's voice drops. Marcus, I'm looking at a case file that was opened and closed 4 times in the past 3 years. Neglect investigations, all unsubstantiated. The last one was 8 months ago. Unsubstantiated how? Mother worked 2 jobs, kept the apartment clean enough, kids showed up to school, but neighbors reported leaving him alone overnight, inconsistent meals, that kind of thing. The problem is Cassandra Mercer was always cooperative during visits, always had explanations. Smart woman, no criminal record, no substance issues we could document. The investigators couldn't prove intentional neglect. Marcus watches Riley, who's now found a box of old motorcycle magazines and is carefully flipping through one, treating each page like it might disintegrate. What aren't you telling me? The last note in the file from 6 months ago, caseworker suspects Cassandra is planning to relocate, possibly out of state. Unable to confirm, Maria's voice softens. Marcus, if she's gone, if she left him, I have to take him into emergency custody tonight. You know that. Marcus does know that. So when he also knows what happens next. Riley goes into the system, gets placed in an emergency foster home by midnight, probably with strangers who are in it for the $432 a month the state pays per kid. If he's lucky, it's a decent family. If he's not, it's a warehouse situation. 6 kids to a room, overwhelmed caregivers, no stability. Either way, Riley becomes a case number, another kid churned through a system designed for efficiency, not care. Give me the weekend, Marcus says. Marcus, give me the weekend. If I can't locate the mother or find family by Monday morning, I'll call you myself. But right now that kid is safe, fed, and not scared. Can the system promise me the same thing tonight? The silence stretches. Marcus knows what he's asking. If something happens to Riley over the next 3 days, Maria's career is over. If the club fails to protect him, if there's an accident, if any of 1,000 things go wrong, she's complicit. But Maria also knows Marcus. She knows the club has housing for visiting members, 2 apartments above the garage, clean and secure. She knows the Iron Brotherhood has a code, and that code includes protecting vulnerable people with the same ferocity they protect their own. Monday morning, 8 a.m., you call me. If I don't hear from you, I'm coming with police. Deal. Marcus hangs up and turns to Riley, who's watching him with those 2 old eyes. Riley, I'm going to ask you something, and I need the truth. No judgment, no consequences, just truth. How often does your mom leave you alone? Riley sets down the magazine carefully, buying time. Then, a lot. For how long? Sometimes a couple days. She always comes back, though. The boy's voice carries the defensive edge of someone who's made this argument before, to teachers or neighbors or himself. She works really hard. 2 jobs. Sometimes the schedules overlap, and she can't find a babysitter. I'm good at being alone. I have rules. Marcus feels something crack in his chest. What are the rules? Don't answer the door. Don't tell anyone. Eat the food in the container she leaves. Do my homework. If there's an emergency, go to Mrs. Patterson in 3F. And when was the last time you saw your mom? Riley thinks. Tuesday night. She said she had a double shift Wednesday and Thursday, and she'd be back Friday to get me from school. 3 days. Cassandra Mercer left her 7-year-old son alone for 3 days with what was probably a week's worth of microwavable meals and a hope that nothing went wrong. And something did go wrong. She didn't come back. Marcus makes a decision. Here's what's happening. You're staying here tonight. We have a clean apartment upstairs with a TV and a real bed. Tomorrow we're going to your place. Get your things, figure out what's going on. Sunday is your birthday. Riley's eyes widen. How did you know? You told me your address. I did the math. Marcus smiles slightly. Club's good at research. Anyway, Sunday is your birthday, and no kid spends his 8th birthday alone. So whatever happens this weekend, we're fixing that. Sound good? For the first time since the parking lot, Riley's careful mask slips. His eyes get wet, but he doesn't cry. Why are you helping me? It's the right question, the smart question. Marcus could give a dozen answers, because it's the right thing to do, because the club helps the community, because he's been where Riley is. But he chooses truth. Because a long time ago, someone didn't help my son when he needed it, and I think about that every day. So now, when I see a kid who needs help, I don't drive away. Simple as that. Riley nods slowly, processing this adult honesty. Okay, thank you. Don't thank me yet. Wait until you see Bear's breakfast. He puts chocolate chips in pancakes like he's trying to give everyone diabetes. Riley almost smiles. Bear drives Marcus and Riley to the apartment in his pickup truck. A decision made because showing up on motorcycles might alarm the neighbors more than necessary. It's 9:23 a.m., sunny, already humid. The apartment complex looks exactly like Marcus expected. Worn siding, cracked parking lot, a playground with 2 broken swings and a slide covered in gang tags. Riley directs them to Building C, 3rd floor. The hallway smells like fried food and chemical cleaners. Apartment 3B has a doormat that says welcome, with three of the letters faded to nothing. You have a key? Marcus asks. Riley produces one from his backpack, attached to a lanyard that also holds a library card and a small plastic dinosaur. He unlocks the door. The apartment is small, living room slash kitchen combo, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. What strikes Marcus immediately is that it's clean. Not perfectly clean, but maintained. Dishes washed and stacked by the sink, vacuum lines on the carpet. Riley's bedroom visible through an open door. Twin bed with superhero sheets, a bookshelf with books organized by height, a small desk with homework papers stacked neatly. This isn't the home of someone who doesn't care. This is the home of someone who's trying very hard with very little. Bear does a sweep while Marcus and Riley wait in the living room. He checks the bathroom cabinets, generic painkillers, children's vitamins, a prescription bottle for Cassandra Mercer, alprazolam for anxiety, filled 3 months ago, half empty. He checks the refrigerator, sparse but not empty. Old takeout containers, a gallon of milk expired 2 days ago, condiments, hot dogs, a Tupperware labeled Riley Thursday with spaghetti inside. He checks Cassandra's bedroom. The bed is made. Dresser drawers are full. Closet has clothes, shoes, a suitcase still stored on the top shelf. On the nightstand, a framed photo of a younger Cassandra holding a toddler. Riley both smiling at the beach. Next to it, a stack of bills. Electric, water, rent notice stamped, final notice, pay by August 20th or face eviction. The date on the notice is 8 days away. Bear returns to the living room, shaking his head at Marcus. Not here, and doesn't look like she packed to leave. Marcus turns to Riley. Pack a bag with clothes for a few days. Anything important you want to bring? Take your time. Riley disappears into his room. The moment he's out of earshot, Bear speaks quietly. This isn't an abandonment, Mark. Something happened. The mom's not flaky. Look at this place. Look at how she prepared food for him. Something went wrong. Marcus nods. He's been thinking the same thing. Check the bills again. Look for names, employers. Want anything that tells us where she works. Bear returns with a handful of papers. 2 pay stubs, both from the past month. One from Riverside Regional Hospital Housekeeping Services, showing Cassandra works 3 12-hour shifts per week, earning $14.50 per hour. The other from Quick Stop Gas and Convenience, night shift differential, earning $12 per hour plus shift premium. Marcus does the math. 2 jobs, probably 50 to 60 hours a week combined, bringing home maybe $2,400 a month before taxes. Rent on this place is probably $950 based on the notice. Utilities, food, transportation, childcare when she can find it. She's living on a blade's edge. One emergency from disaster. We call the hospital and the gas station, Marcus says. Find out when she was scheduled to work, if she showed up, if anyone knows where she went. Bear nods and pulls out his phone. While he makes calls, Marcus explores more carefully. He finds Riley's school papers, mostly A's and B's. Teacher comments like, Riley is bright but often seems tired, and please remember to sign permission slips. He finds a grocery list on the counter in Cassandra's handwriting. Milk, bread, peanut butter, pasta, chicken, vegetables, ending with Riley's cake stuff, underlined twice. She was planning for his birthday. Riley emerges with a backpack and a duffel bag. He's packed efficiently. Clothes, toiletries, the framed beach photo, 3 books, and a shoebox that he holds carefully. Can I bring this? What is it? My mom's memory box. She showed me once. Said if anything ever happened to her, this box has important stuff. Marcus's instincts fire. Can I see? Riley hesitates, then nods. Marcus opens the box on the coffee table. Inside, Cassandra's birth certificate, Riley's birth certificate, social security cards for both. Riley's immunization records, custody papers showing Cassandra has sole custody, father listed as unknown, a sealed envelope labeled life insurance policy, $25,000 beneficiary Riley Mercer, and a smaller envelope labeled read if emergency. Marcus opens the emergency envelope. Inside, a handwritten letter. If you're reading this, something bad happened to me. Please make sure Riley is safe. His emergency contacts: 1. Margaret Chen, 555-0147. My friend from nursing school lives in Oregon now. 2. Pastor David Okonkwo, South Oak Community Center, 555-01983. Riley's teacher, Ms. Patricia Hammond, South Oak Elementary. Riley is a good kid. When he's smart and careful, he'll try to take care of himself. Don't let him. He deserves to be a kid. There's $3,400 in cash in my work boot, left foot, bedroom closet. Use it for Riley. My life insurance should cover the rest. I tried to do better. I'm sorry I couldn't. Cassandra. The letter is dated 4 months ago, updated with the current teacher's name. Marcus's hands are shaking slightly. He looks at Riley, who's watching with that careful expression. Did you know about this letter? No, Mom just said the box was important. Bear hangs up his phone. Hospital says Cassandra was scheduled Thursday and Friday overnight shifts, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. She showed up Thursday, clocked out at 7:14 a.m. Friday. Never showed up for Friday night's shift. They tried calling, no answer, marked her as no call, no show. With a gas station, says the same. She was scheduled Friday night at 11 p.m. after the hospital shift. Didn't show, didn't call. Marcus processes this timeline. Cassandra finished her hospital shift Friday morning at 7:14 a.m. She was supposed to pick up Riley from school at 3:30 p.m., then work the gas station shift at 11 p.m. She vanished somewhere in those 8 hours. We need to trace her route, Marcus says. Hospital to here to school, school to work, 8 hours, someone saw her. Riley speaks up quietly. She takes the number 7 bus, doesn't have a car. Marcus looks at the boy. 7 years old and already mapping his mother's bus routes, understanding her schedule, learning to be invisible when she works. He thinks about his own son at that age, carefree, playing baseball, never wondering if his parents would come home. Hey, Riley, Marcus says carefully, we're going to find your mom, but I need you to understand that we might find out things that are hard. She might be hurt, or she might be somewhere she can't leave, or she might... He stops, searching for the right words. Whatever we find, you've got people now. You've got the club. You're not alone. Understand? Riley nods. His voice is very small. Do you think she's dead? The question hangs in the air like a grenade. Bear looks away. Marcus doesn't. I don't know, Marcus says honestly, but I know she loves you. That letter, this apartment, the food she left, that's love. So we're going to figure out what happened, and we're going to make sure you're okay. That's a promise. Riley's face crumples for just a second, then rebuilds itself. He's had practice. Okay. Marcus picks up the shoebox. Quit, we're taking this, and we're calling these emergency contacts. Back at the clubhouse, Marcus calls an emergency center meeting. Club terminology for when all available members gather for serious business. By 2 p.m., 38 bikers fill the clubhouse main room, ranging in age from 23 to 67, representing mechanics, construction workers, a lawyer, 2 veterans, a paramedic, and a retired police detective named Raymond Chains Morrison, who left the force 15 years ago but kept his skills sharp. Riley is upstairs in the apartment with Bear, who's teaching him how to play chess and losing on purpose in a way that the kid hasn't figured out yet. Marcus stands at the head of the room and explains the situation. He shows Cassandra's photo, taken from the beach picture, her face smiling and unguarded. He outlines the timeline. He reads the letter. When he finishes, the room is silent for exactly 4 seconds. Then Carlos Wrench Dominguez, the club's treasurer, and a man who owns 3 auto repair shops, speaks up. I know a guy at the Transit Authority. He can pull bus camera footage from Friday morning, trace which stop she got off. Raymond raises his hand like he's still in a precinct briefing. I've got contacts at local hospitals beyond Riverside. I'll check emergency rooms, clinics, anywhere she might have gone if she got hurt. Also morgues. He says the last word gently, but everyone hears it. Thomas T-Bone Crawford, a construction foreman with arms like tree trunks, stands. My crew works all over South Oak. We're on construction sites. We see the city. I'll put the word out. Anyone sees a woman matching her description, and they call me immediately. We'll blanket the area. A younger member named Jake Hawk Martinez speaks up. I'll check the jails and holding cells. Drunk tank, unpaid warrants, anything that might explain why she couldn't call. Sarah Widow Chen, one of 3 female members, earned her road name after her husband died, and she rode his motorcycle to the funeral. Adds, I'll call the women's shelters, domestic violence centers. Maybe she's hiding, maybe someone hurt her, and she's scared. Marcus feels the thing he always feels during moments like this. The reason he stayed in the club for 19 years despite the danger, the stigma, the assumptions. Brotherhood, real brotherhood. 53 members spread across South Oak, and every single one would drop their Saturday plans to find a missing woman they've never met because one of their brothers asked. Chains, Marcus says. You coordinate. Use the war room, set up a command board. Everyone reports findings to you. You track leads. Wrench, get that footage. T-Bone, mobilize your network. Everyone else, we're doing a grid search. Hospital to apartment, apartment to school, school to the gas station. Talk to every store clerk, every bus driver, every person sitting on a porch. Someone saw her. The men nod and begin moving. Phones come out. Laptop opens. Someone pins a map of South Oak to the wall and starts marking locations. Marcus pulls Chains aside. What aren't you saying? The old detective has a weathered face that's seen too much for too long. I'm saying it's been 36 hours since anyone saw her. I'm saying she's a single mother with no support system, working 2 minimum wage jobs in a city where women disappear sometimes. I'm saying statistically, the first 48 hours matter most. He pauses. I'm also saying this club has pulled off miracles before, so I'm not giving up. But you need to prepare for bad news. Marcus nods. And the boy? The boy needs hope until we can't give him hope anymore. After that, he needs family. Good thing he's got 53 potential uncles and aunts now. Marcus almost smiles. 53. He's club family now, Mark. You made that call when you brought him here. He's under our patch. That means something. It does mean something. Once the Iron Brotherhood doesn't officially recognize family members as property, the way some motorcycle clubs do, but they have an understanding. Mess with our family, you mess with all of us. The boy is protected now by an organization with 5 decades of history, connections throughout the city's underground and legitimate businesses, and a reputation for keeping their word. Marcus returns upstairs. Bear and Riley are indeed playing chess, and Bear is losing in a way that looks increasingly genuine. Riley has a natural, strategic mind. How you doing, kid? Marcus asks. I'm beating Bear at chess, Riley says with the first hint of pride Marcus has heard. Bear's terrible at chess, Marcus says. He's good at intimidating people and making cheeseburgers. Strategic thinking, not his strong suit. Hey, Bear protests, but he's smiling. Hey, Marcus sits down. Riley, the club is looking for your mom. We have people checking hospitals, buses, everywhere she might have gone. Is there anything else you can think of? Any place she liked to go? Anyone she talked about? Anything that seemed different lately? Riley considers this with that serious expression. She was worried about rent. She kept checking the mail like she was waiting for something. And 3 weeks ago, a man came to the apartment. Marcus's attention sharpens. What man? I don't know. I was supposed to be asleep, but I heard them talking. He was asking about money and Mom said she needed more time. He said something like, borrowed money comes with borrowed time, or something. It sounded like a movie. Bear and Marcus exchange glances. Loan shark. In a neighborhood like this, with rent due and jobs that don't cover emergencies, people turn to dangerous solutions. Did you see him? Marcus asks. Riley shakes his head. Just heard his voice. He sounded, the boy searches for the word, mean, like he was smiling but not in a nice way. Marcus's jaw tightens. If Cassandra borrowed money from the wrong person and couldn't pay it back, the scenarios get darker. Injured as a warning, taken as collateral. Worse. That's good information, Riley. Really helpful. Marcus pulls out his phone and texts Chains. Check loan sharks, payday lenders, illegal lending operations. She might have borrowed money she couldn't pay back. Chains responds immediately. On it. Ramirez knows that world. I'll send him. Marcus stands. Keep playing. I need to make some calls. Downstairs, the clubhouse has transformed into an operations center. The war room, normally used for planning charity rides and bike rallies, now has the South Oak map covered in pins and notes. Chains stands at the center like a general. Update, Chains says. Wrench got the bus footage. Cassandra got on the number 7 bus at 7:31 a.m. Friday morning outside Riverside Hospital, still in her housekeeping uniform. She rode 6 stops, got off at Miller Avenue and 4th Street at 7:52 a.m. That's 4 blocks from her apartment. After that, nothing. Marcus studies the map. Miller and 4th. He knows that intersection, convenience store, laundromat, check cashing place, and a diner called Rosie's that serves cheap breakfast 24 hours. Did she make it home? Marcus asks. Don't know yet. Building doesn't have cameras. But T-Bone's crew is canvassing that 4-block radius now. The next 3 hours are a masterclass in organized effort. Club members spread across South Oak like antibodies responding to infection. They show Cassandra's photo to 217 people. They check 6 hospitals, 4 clinics, 2 urgent care centers. They call 11 women's shelters. They review camera footage from 3 gas stations along the bus route. At 5:47 p.m., Wrench calls with the first real lead. Rosie's Diner, he says. Waitress named Pam remembers Cassandra coming in Friday morning around 8 a.m., ordered coffee and eggs. Pam says Cassandra looked exhausted, fell asleep in the booth. Pam let her sleep an hour, then woke her around 9:15 because the breakfast rush needed the table. Cassandra paid, left a $3 tip on a $7 check. I walked out heading west on 4th Street. That's the last confirmed sighting. Marcus closes his eyes, picturing it. Cassandra, 31 years old, finishing a 12-hour hospital shift, grabbing breakfast before going home to sleep a few hours, before picking up Riley. She's exhausted. She's probably thinking about the rent notice, the loan shark, her son waiting at school. She walks west on 4th Street, and then something happens. Ramirez, Marcus says into his phone. You get anything on loan sharks? Angel Ramirez Torres is a former gang member who left that life 11 years ago, but still maintains connections to South Oak's underworld. He knows who lends money on the streets, who collects debts, who solves problems with violence instead of paperwork. Yeah, Ramirez says, and his voice is tight. A guy named Eddie Voss runs an operation out of a poker room behind the Lucky Dragon restaurant. Lends money at 20% weekly interest. Basically impossible to pay back. If you default, he offers a payment plan. Work for him until the debt's clear. Work means whatever he needs, cleaning his properties, running errands, sometimes worse for women. Marcus feels ice in his stomach. Does he have a woman named Cassandra Mercer? Can't confirm yet, but I talked to a girl who got out last year. She says Voss's guys watch the bus stops near Riverside Hospital on Friday mornings. They know that's when the housekeeping staff gets off shift. Women who work overnight, who are tired, who might be vulnerable. They approach with offers. Need a loan? Need help? We're here for you. They're friendly at first. Now by the time you realize you're trapped, it's too late. Marcus is already moving. Where is this Lucky Dragon? Corner of 8th and Hanson. But Mark, you can't just walk in. Voss has 6 guys, all armed. This isn't a fist fight situation. I'm not walking in, not yet. Marcus turns to Chains. I need everything on Eddie Voss. Criminal record, properties, businesses, associates, where he lives, where his mother lives, what kind of car he drives, everything. And I need it in 2 hours. Chains nods. You'll have it in 1. Marcus looks around the clubhouse. 38 men, all watching him, all waiting for the call. Some of them are dangerous in the way that comes from military training. Some are dangerous in the way that comes from hard lives and harder lessons. All of them are ready. But Marcus knows that storming a poker room with armed criminals inside doesn't solve the problem. It creates a war, and wars have casualties, including the people you're trying to protect. Stand down, Marcus says. No one moves until we have intelligence and a plan. We do this smart, not hard. Chains coordinates intel. The rest of you maintain the search pattern. Hospitals, shelters, street contacts. If Voss has her, we need to know for sure before we act. If she's somewhere else, we need to find her. Clear? The men nod, but Marcus can feel their frustration. These are people of action, trained to respond to threats with force. Restraint is harder than violence. Marcus goes back upstairs. Riley is curled on the couch. asleep with a book on his chest. Bear sits nearby, standing guard without being asked. How much danger is she in? Bear asks quietly. If Voss has her, a lot. Men like him don't lend money out of kindness. They lend money to create dependence, people they can exploit. If Cassandra couldn't pay, Marcus doesn't finish the sentence. Bear's expression darkens. And if we find proof he took her, then we get her back. Legally if possible, forcefully if necessary, but carefully. The last thing Riley needs is his mom rescued from one dangerous situation and his new uncles arrested in the process. Bear nods. Kid's been through enough. Marcus looks at Riley sleeping. Tomorrow is his 8th birthday. 48 hours ago, he was a normal second grader waiting for his mom in a parking lot. Now he's in the care of a motorcycle club hunting for evidence that his mother was abducted by a loan shark. His childhood destroyed in less than a weekend. Marcus makes a silent promise. Whatever happens, this boy gets a birthday. He gets cake and presents and people who show up. He gets one good memory in the middle of this nightmare. Saturday night, the intelligence chains delivers at 7:03 p.m. The war room now has a full dossier on Eddie Voss pinned to the board. Edward Eddie Voss age, 42. Criminal record, 3 arrests, assault, loan sharking, extortion. 2 convictions, served 18 months total. Currently on probation. Known associates, 6 enforcers, names and photos attached. Properties, Lucky Dragon Restaurant, front. 2 rental houses on Maple Street, 1 warehouse on Industrial Boulevard. Vehicles, black Cadillac Escalade, plate, VOS 777. White panel van, plate 4JK892. Probation officer, Dennis Murray. It reports due monthly. Known pattern, targets low-income workers, especially women, offers loans at 20% weekly interest, collects via intimidation or work arrangements. Attached to the dossier are photos, grainy surveillance images of Voss, a heavy-set man with slick-back hair and expensive watch. His enforcers look like what they are, ex-cons with muscle, wearing the kind of casual menace that makes people cross the street. Ramirez adds more details. My sources say Voss keeps his workers at the Industrial Boulevard warehouse during the day. They clean his properties, do maintenance, whatever he needs. At night, they stay in one of his rental houses under supervision. It's not technically kidnapping because he claims they're voluntarily working off their debts. But they're not free to leave. He confiscates phones. He controls their movements, threatens to report them to police for theft or fraud if they run. How many people does he have right now? Marcus asks. At least 5 women? Maybe more. Turnover is high. Some finish their debts. Some escape. Some... Ramirez doesn't finish, but everyone knows what he means. Chains points to the warehouse on the map. If Cassandra's there, it'll be guarded. Probably 2 guys during the day, more at night. We can't surveil too obviously. Voss's people will notice bikes circling the block, Marcus thinks. We need visual confirmation she's there before we act. Can we get eyes inside? Raymond Chains Morrison smiles slightly. I might know a guy. The guy turns out to be Chains' nephew, Derek, who works for an industrial cleaning company. With one phone call, Chains arranges for Derek's company to send a team to the warehouse Monday morning for a routine inspection and quote for cleaning services. Derek will have a camera in his shirt pocket, 20 minutes to sweep the building, and instructions to report back. But that's Monday, Marcus says. 2 days. 2 days we use to build a case, Chains replies. If we confirm Cassandra is there, we need proof solid enough that the police have to act. Photos, witness statements, documentation of Voss's operation. We give them a case they can't ignore. Sarah speaks up. And if the police don't act fast enough, Marcus meets her eyes. Then we do. But we try legal first. For Riley's sake. He doesn't need his mom rescued by vigilantes if there's another way. The room murmurs agreement, but the energy is clear. Legal first, but prepared for otherwise. Marcus makes another decision. Tomorrow is Sunday. It's Riley's 8th birthday. Whatever else is happening, we're giving him one good day. Full celebration, presents, cake, the works. We owe him that. Monday we move. Bear grins. I'll make the cake. You'll burn the clubhouse down, Wrench says. Fine, I'll buy the cake. Same thing. The tension breaks slightly. Plans form. Someone mentions getting superhero decorations. Someone else volunteers to pick up presents. Sarah suggests inviting some kids from the neighborhood, so Riley isn't celebrating with 38 bikers. Marcus feels the weight of command, holding together the need for action with the need for caution, balancing Riley's immediate needs with his mother's danger. But he also feels the strength of the people around him. This is what the club is for. Not just riding bikes or looking tough. This. Upstairs, Riley is awake, standing at the window, watching the activity below. Marcus joins him. They're looking for her, Riley says. It's not a question. Yeah. Do you think they'll find her? Marcus considers lying, considers soft reassurances, decides on truth. I think they'll find out what happened. After that, we'll figure out what to do. Riley nods slowly. If she's hurt, or if she's not coming back, what happens to me? The question Marcus has been dreading. Then you have choices. The state will want to put you with family or in foster care, but you also have us, the club. We can't officially adopt you or anything. There's laws and processes, but we can make sure you're safe, make sure whoever gets custody is good people. Make sure you're not alone, you understand? You do that, even though you just met me. Riley, the club has a saying, all for one, one for all. It's corny, sounds like a kid's movie, but it means when one of us needs help, all of us show up. You're one of us now. So yeah, we'd do that. Riley turns away from the window. His eyes are wet again, but this time he doesn't fight it. I just want my mom back. I know, kid. Me too. They stand there together, a 7-year-old boy who's been forced to grow up too fast, and a 62-year-old biker who's trying to save something he couldn't save years ago, watching the sunset through the window of a motorcycle clubhouse in South Oak. Tomorrow's a birthday, Monday is a rescue, tonight is just waiting. Marcus wakes Riley at 9 a.m. with a tradition he hasn't used in over a decade. Pancakes with a candle. Bear makes good on his promise. The pancakes are chocolate chip, absurdly fluffy, stacked 5 high with a single candle, number 8, stuck in the center. Marcus carries the plate upstairs singing happy birthday in a voice that would make dogs howl but serves the purpose. Riley sits up in bed, confused for a moment. The strange room, the music, the overwhelming smell of chocolate and butter. Then remembers. His birthday, the club, his missing mother. The emotions wore on his face until Marcus sets the plate down. House rules, Marcus says. Birthdays get pancakes before breakfast. Also, you have about 45 minutes to eat and get dressed because half the neighborhood is coming at 11. What? Birthday party, kid. Hey, did you think we were joking? The clubhouse yard has been transformed. Someone, Sarah, with help from her teenage daughter, has strung up red and blue streamers between the garage and the clubhouse. A fold-out table holds a sheet cake the size of a small car with Happy Birthday Riley in blue frosting and a motorcycle. Bear's artistic contribution, looking more like a blob with wheels, decorating one corner. Balloons are tied to fence posts. A boombox plays kid-appropriate music, which in this context means classic rock with no swearing. And the people. 30 members of the Iron Brotherhood are present, plus spouses, plus kids from the neighborhood, whose parents said yes when Sarah knocked on doors yesterday afternoon, explaining that a little boy needed a birthday party. 15 children between ages 5 and 12 run around the yard. We're supervised by rotating adults who treat child watching with the same seriousness they'd treat guarding a weapons cache. Riley emerges from the clubhouse and stops, overwhelmed. Bear puts a hand on his shoulder. Every birthday needs people, little man. You got people. The party is chaotic, loud, and perfect. Riley plays tag with kids he doesn't know, but who accept him instantly the way children do. He eats 3 pieces of cake, Bear's portions. He opens presents, a bicycle from the club, gently used but freshly painted red, new clothes that actually fit, Sarah's doing, books, a remote control car, and a leather vest, a miniature version of the club's colors, with a patch reading Iron Brotherhood Honorary Member, Riley. When Riley sees the vest, He goes very quiet. He holds it like it's made of glass. Marcus kneels. Son too, you don't have to wear it, but if you want, you're part of the family. Honorary member means you're protected, you're respected, you've got brothers and sisters. It's not a toy. It means something. Understand? Riley nods, then carefully puts the vest on. It fits perfectly. Someone took his measurements while he slept. The club members gather around. Bear raises a cup of fruit punch, the only beverage allowed at kids' parties, club rules. To Riley, who's tougher at 8 than most of us were at 18. Happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday, the crowd echoes. Riley smiles, a real, unguarded 8-year-old smile. For 2 hours and 47 minutes, he forgets that his mother is missing. He's just a kid at a party surrounded by people who showed up. At 2 p.m., as the party winds down and parents collect their children, Chains pulls Marcus aside. His face is grave. Derek just sent photos from the warehouse. Marcus's stomach drops. And? Cassandra's there, alive. Cleaning crew spotted her in the back section, along with 4 other women. They're under watch. 2 guards, just like we thought. Derek got photos, timestamps, everything. Marcus feels relief and rage in equal measure. Alive, but trapped. Monday morning, we move. Mark, there's more. Derek overheard one of the guards talking. Voss is planning to move his Operation Wednesday, taking the women to a different location out of state. If we don't act fast, we lose her. Wednesday, 3 days. Marcus looks back at the yard, where Riley is showing his new bicycle to the remaining kids, looking proud and young and fragile. The boy's mother is alive, but she's in the hands of a man who treats human beings as property, and the window to save her is closing. Assemble the club, Marcus says. Full center, 7 p.m. tonight. We plan this down to the minute. No mistakes, no improvisation, no heroes. We get Cassandra out, we get evidence on Voss, and we do it without anyone getting killed or arrested. Clear? Clear. Marcus returns to the party, his face arranged in something close to calm. Riley runs up to him. This is the best birthday I've ever had. Thank you. You're welcome, kid. You ready for the grand finale? There's more? Oh, there's more. At 3 p.m., 500 motorcycles begin arriving. The rumble starts at 2:47 p.m., distant at first like thunder rolling in from the horizon. Riley is playing with his remote control car when he pauses, head tilted, listening. When the sound grows, not louder exactly, but denser, multiplying, becoming a physical vibration that rattles the clubhouse windows. Marcus checks his watch and smiles. Right on time. Riley, come here, he calls. The boy walks over, curious. The rumble is now unmistakable. The synchronized growl of dozens, then hundreds of motorcycle engines. Marcus leads Riley to the front gate just as the first wave appears. They come from the west on Harrison Street, a river of chrome and leather filling the road from curb to curb. Harley-Davidsons, Indians, custom choppers, sport bikes, even a few vintage models that look like rolling museum pieces. The riders wear colors from clubs across 3 states. Iron Brotherhood chapters from neighboring cities. Allied independent clubs. Veteran riding groups, and even a few solo riders who heard through the grapevine that something important was happening. The lead pack pulls into the compound. 50 bikes, engines cutting in a choreographed sequence that leaves sudden, reverent silence. Then the second wave arrives, then the third. Riley stands frozen, eyes wide, as the parking lot and street fill with motorcycles. Riders dismount, remove helmets, nod to Marcus with the respect given to a man who called in every favor accumulated over 2 decades. Some are old friends. Some are strangers united by code. All of them are here because Marcus Sullivan sent out a message yesterday afternoon. Brother in need, child's birthday, mother in danger. Show South Oak what family looks like. And they came. From Pittsburgh, from Cleveland, from rural chapters 3 hours away. And they came because that's what the code demands. When one club calls for presence, not for violence, just for presence, you show up. By 3:15 p.m., 507 motorcycles fill every available space within a 3-block radius. The roar of their arrival brought residents to windows and porches. Children point. Even the neighborhood's usual skeptics, People who view motorcycle clubs with suspicion watch with something close to awe. Marcus puts his hand on Riley's shoulder. See that, kid? That's what happens when someone decides you matter. 500 people drop their Sunday plans, road hours in some cases, just to show you that you're not alone. That's family. That's what we do. Riley can't speak. His eyes move from bike to bike, rider to rider, men and women ranging from their 20s to their 70s. Every race and background, are united by leather and chrome and code. Some nod to him. One woman, a rider from a club called the Road Angels, walks over and hands Riley a small stuffed bear wearing a tiny leather vest. Every kid needs a road guardian, she says. His name's Thunder. He rides with you now. Riley clutches the bear, and this time when the tears come, he doesn't hide them. The riders don't stay long. This isn't a rally, it's a statement. They came to be seen, to make sure anyone watching understood that Riley Mercer, 8 years old, has 500 people who will answer if he needs them. One by one, the clubs start their engines, perform a slow roll-past salute, and depart. The entire event lasts 43 minutes. When the last bike disappears and the rumble fades, the neighborhood is quiet in a different way. The kind of quiet that follows a miracle. Bear wipes his eyes, not embarrassed. Gets me every time. Marcus nods. He's seen shows of force before, but this one matters more. Because somewhere in South Oak, in a warehouse guarded by hired thugs, Cassandra Mercer is trapped. And when they go to get her tomorrow, she'll be coming home to a son who has the kind of protection most people only see in movies. Riley looks up at Marcus. They came for me? They came for you. But they don't even know me. Marcus kneels to eye level. They know you're a kid who needs family. They know your mom is in trouble. That's enough. In this world, Riley, there's a lot of bad, but there's also this. People who show up because it's right. Remember that. Riley hugs Marcus suddenly, fiercely, the way a drowning person holds a life preserver. Marcus holds him back, thinking of his own son who never got to this age, never got to understand that the world has people who show up. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you, Jason, Marcus thinks, but I'm here for this one. At 7 p.m. sharp, 53 members of the Iron Brotherhood fill the clubhouse for full center. Riley is upstairs with Sarah's teenage daughter, Maya, who's teaching him card games and keeping him distracted. The mood downstairs is serious, focused, dangerous. Marcus stands at the head of the war room, chains beside him. The map of South Oak is now covered in detailed notes, photos from Derek's warehouse reconnaissance, and a tactical overlay showing entry points, guard positions, and escape routes. Listen up, Marcus begins. However, we have confirmation that Cassandra Mercer is being held at Eddie Voss's warehouse on Industrial Boulevard, along with 4 other women. Voss is running a debt slavery operation. He loans money he knows can't be repaid, then forces people to work off inflated debts under guard. It's human trafficking with a legal veneer. He pins Derek's photos to the board. The images show 5 women in a warehouse back room, sitting on folding chairs looking exhausted. One of them is unmistakably Cassandra. Same face as the beach photo, but older, worn, afraid. In one image, she's cleaning a floor. In another, a guard stands behind her, arms crossed. Tomorrow, Monday morning, we're getting her out. But we're doing this the right way. We're building a case, documenting everything, and handing it to the police wrapped in a bow. And our goal is rescue and justice, not revenge. Everyone clear? The room murmurs assent, but Marcus sees the tension. These are men who solve problems with action, and the plan he's proposing requires restraint. Chains takes over, pointing to the tactical map. Here's the operation, codename Homecoming. 3 phases. Wrench and Ramirez set up surveillance across from the warehouse. Long-range cameras, audio if possible. We document guard changes, deliveries, any movement in or out. We're building a timeline that proves this is an ongoing operation, not a one-day event. Wrench nods. He's already assembled the equipment. Professional-grade cameras borrowed from a friend in private investigation. Recording devices that can pick up conversations from 200 feet. Derek's cleaning company arrives for their scheduled quote appointment. And Derek and his team conduct a thorough inspection, which gives them legal access to the entire warehouse. Hidden cameras document conditions, capture faces of guards, Confirm the women's presence. Derek accidentally drops a burner phone in the bathroom that Cassandra uses. If she finds it, she can call out. If not, we have visual proof of her location. Chains shows photos of the burner phone, a cheap flip phone with one number program. The clubhouse. It's labeled on the back in permanent marker. Press 1 for help. This is where it gets delicate. We can't storm the warehouse. That's kidnapping, assault, probably get someone shot. Instead, we create a reason for authorities to enter legally. Raymond, you're our retired detective with contacts in the South Oak Police Department. Who can we trust? Raymond stands. Sergeant Linda Kowalski, Organized Crime Unit. She's clean, ambitious, hates human trafficking. I've worked with her before. If we hand her a case with enough evidence, she'll move fast. How fast? Same day if the evidence is solid. She'll coordinate with a tactical unit, execute a welfare check that turns into a raid. If we give her photos, witness statements from Derek's team, surveillance footage, and proof of Voss's criminal history, she can get a warrant by noon. Marcus nods. That's our play. We document everything morning through late morning, compile it into a case file, deliver it to Sergeant Kowalski by 11:30 a.m. She raids by 1 p.m. before Voss knows what's happening. The women get rescued by police, not by us. Clean, legal, no blowback on the club. T-Bone raises his hand. And if something goes wrong, or if the cops can't move that fast, or if Voss gets spooked and moves the women, Marcus's expression hardens. Then we have a backup plan. 3 trucks, 15 men, positioned within 2 minutes of the warehouse. If Voss tries to move the women, we intercept. Not violently, we block the road, delay until police arrive, make a scene big enough that witnesses call 911. We force a situation where authorities have to respond. And if Voss's guards escalate, we de-escalate. Our people are trained. Bear, T-Bone, Ramirez. You've all handled worse situations. We use presence and intimidation, not violence. The goal is to stall, not fight. Riley's watching how this ends. I want him to see us win by being smart, not brutal. The room absorbs this. It's a harder path than just kicking down doors, but it's the right one. Sarah speaks up. And what about the other 4 women? Do we know their stories? Chains flips through his notes. Working on identification. Derek got decent photos. Ramirez's sources say one is a 19-year-old who borrowed money for community college tuition. Another is a mother of 3 who needed emergency cash when her husband was hospitalized. The other 2, we don't have details yet, but they all deserve rescue, not just Cassandra. Agreed, Marcus says. We save all of them. This isn't just about Riley's mom. This is about shutting down Voss's operation permanently. Everyone he's exploiting gets freed. Everyone he's hurt gets justice. The energy in the room shifts. This isn't just a rescue mission anymore. It's righteous work, the kind that reminds them why they formed the club in the first place. To protect people who can't protect themselves. To be the force that stands between predators and victims. Marcus continues. Final details. Wrench, you and Ramirez are on surveillance starting 5:30 a.m. Derek's team arrives at 9 a.m. sharp. Raymond, you contact Sergeant Kowalski at 8 a.m. Give her a heads up that something big is coming, but don't reveal details until we have the full package. The rest of you, normal schedules. We don't want to spook Voss by having the whole club mobilized, obviously. Bear, T-Bone, Jake, your backup extraction team. Stay close, stay ready, stay invisible. He looks around the room. This is complicated, high risk, and dependent on timing. If anyone has doubts, speak now. Silence. Then Wrench grins. Mark, we've pulled off charity rides with 500 bikes and 0 crashes. We can handle 1 slimeball loan shark. Laughter breaks the tension. All right, get some sleep. Tomorrow we bring Riley's mom home. The meeting breaks. Members disperse to prepare equipment, make calls, run through scenarios. Marcus feels the weight of leadership. 53 people trusting his plan. 1 woman's life depending on execution. 1 boy's future hanging in the balance. Chains approaches. You did good, Mark. This is the right way. Hope you're right, because if we screw this up, Riley loses his mom for real, and we're the ones who made it worse. We won't screw it up. I've been doing this 40 years, and this is the most organized operation I've seen outside the military. Trust the plan. Marcus nods, but the doubt lingers. Plans are perfect until reality intervenes. Upstairs, Riley is asleep on the couch, still wearing his honorary vest. Thunder the bear tucked under his arm. Sarah sits nearby, reading. "How's he doing?" Marcus asks quietly. "He's scared, but trying not to show it. Asked me 3 times if his mom is really okay, if we're really getting her tomorrow. I told him we're doing everything we can." Sarah looks up. "Are we? Really?" "Yeah, we are." "Good, because that kid up there has been through enough disappointment. He needs one thing to go right." Marcus watches Riley sleep. Tomorrow, either they reunite a mother and son, or they break a child's heart. No pressure. 5:23 a.m. Wrench and Ramirez arrive at the surveillance position, a rented office space across from Voss's warehouse, with a perfect sight line to the loading bay and main entrance. The equipment is already set up. 2 cameras with telephoto lenses, a parabolic microphone, recording devices synced to laptops. And the space looks like a low-budget spy movie, but the tech is professional grade. "We're hot," Wrench says into his radio. Visual on the warehouse. 2 guards outside smoking. Black Escalade parked by the bay. That's Voss's car. Marcus, monitoring from the clubhouse war room, responds. "Copy. Maintain observation. Document everything." Riley is still asleep upstairs. Marcus let him sleep in. No reason to wake the boy before there's news. The next 3 hours are a masterclass in patience. Wrench and Ramirez document. 5:47 a.m. Guard change. 2 men leave. 2 new guards arrive in a white panel van. 6:13 a.m. Lights turn on inside warehouse back section. 6:34 a.m. Side door opens. 5 women emerge, escorted by 1 guard, heading to a bathroom trailer. All 5 look exhausted, move slowly. Cameras capture clear facial shots. 6:41 a.m. Women return inside, door closes. 7:02 a.m. Eddie Voss himself arrives in the Escalade. He's on the phone, gesturing angrily. Audio picks up fragments. "I told you Wednesday. Moving the whole operation. Can't risk heat." 7:15 a.m. Voss enters warehouse, stays 20 minutes, exits. He drives away at 7:38 a.m. Ramirez compiles the footage in real time, time-stamping everything. By 8 a.m., they have 47 minutes of video evidence showing a guarded facility, restricted movement, and Voss's direct involvement. At 8:04 a.m., Raymond calls Sergeant Linda Kowalski. "Linda, it's Raymond Morrison. I've got something for you. Human trafficking operation, active right now in South Oak. Debt slavery, 5 victims, organized crime connection. How fast can you move if I hand you a warrant-ready case?" Linda Kowalski is a 20-year veteran, too sharp, incorruptible, with a personal hatred for human traffickers stemming from a case early in her career where she arrived too late. "How solid is your evidence?" "Video surveillance, witness documentation, victim identification, suspect's criminal history, proof of ongoing operation. I can have it on your desk by noon." "Raymond, if you're BSing me..." "I'm not. This is real. 5 women held against their will, forced to work off fabricated debts. The operation is run by Eddie Voss. You know that name?" "I know it. He's been on our radar for years, but he's slippery. Never enough to prosecute." "You'll have enough today. Can you mobilize a team?" Silence while she thinks. Then, "Get me the evidence by 11:30 a.m. I'll have a tactical unit staged and a judge on standby. If it's as good as you say, anyway, we move by 1 p.m. It's better than I'm saying. I'll see you at 11:30. Raymond hangs up and radios Marcus. "We're green lit. Kowalski will move if the evidence holds." "It'll hold, Wayne," Marcus says. "Derek's up next." At 9 a.m. precisely, a white van marked Premier Industrial Cleaning Services pulls up to the warehouse. Derek Morrison, Raymond's nephew, wearing company uniform and carrying a clipboard, exits with 2 colleagues. He approaches the front entrance and knocks. One of the guards opens the door. "Yeah? Premier Industrial Cleaning. We're here for the facility assessment and quote, should be on your schedule." Derek shows the clipboard, an official work order, properly formatted, listing Eddie Voss as the client contact. "Voss, the setup is brilliant. Chains called in a favor with the actual premier industrial cleaning company owner, who agreed to send a team for a real quote. Derek and his colleagues are legitimate employees for the next 2 hours. The work order is real, everything is above board, which means the guards have no legal reason to refuse entry. The guard checks his phone, frowns. Boss didn't mention this. Want me to call the office? We're scheduled for 3 appointments today, so if you need to reschedule, we can come back, but there's a cancellation fee. Derek's tone is bored, professional, the voice of someone who does this 10 times a week. Nah, come on, make it quick. They're in. Derek and his team spend the next 90 minutes conducting a genuinely thorough facility inspection, measuring square footage, assessing floor types, checking for hazardous materials, photographing conditions. Everything they do is standard protocol for a cleaning quote, which means the guards watch but don't interfere. But the inspection has dual purposes. Derek's shirt pocket camera captures everything. The warehouse layout, the guards' faces and positions, the locked back room where the women are kept, the bathroom trailer outside, and most importantly, clear footage of the 5 women. At 9:47 a.m., Derek requests access to the restroom facilities to assess cleaning requirements. The guard escorts him to the trailer. Inside, Derek quickly places the burner phone behind the toilet, partially hidden but discoverable to anyone who looks. He also leaves a small note written on a paper towel. Phone works? Press 1 for help. Friends looking for Cassandra Mercer. At 10:15 a.m., Derek needs to photograph the back storage area. The guard unlocks the door. Inside, the 5 women sit on folding chairs, some folding laundry, some just waiting. Cassandra looks up when Derek enters, her eyes hollow with exhaustion and fear. Derek maintains professional demeanor. Just need photos for the quote. Won't be a minute. He photographs the room, making sure to capture the women's faces clearly. As he turns to leave, he makes brief eye contact with Cassandra and mouths, "Riley is safe." Cassandra's eyes widen. She starts to speak, but Derek shakes his head slightly and exits. The guard locks the door behind him. At 10:52 a.m., Derek and his team finish the inspection, thank the guards, and leave. The moment they're in the van and around the corner, Derek calls Marcus. "We got it all. Crystal clear footage? 5 women confirmed. Cassandra is alive and aware. Drop the phone. The guards bought the whole thing. They think we're coming back next week with a quote." "Good work," Marcus says. "Get the footage to Chains immediately. We're building the case now." The war room becomes a production facility. Chains, Raymond, and Wrench compile evidence into a comprehensive package. Exhibit A, surveillance footage showing guarded facility, restricted movement, Voss's arrival. Exhibit B, interior documentation from Derek's inspection showing locked rooms, women under guard. Exhibit C, background on Eddie Voss, criminal record, probation status. Also known associates. Exhibit D, victim identification. They've now ID'd all 5 women through various databases and missing person inquiries. Exhibit E, witness statement from Derek's team describing conditions observed. Exhibit F, financial records. Ramirez's underground sources provided bank statements showing Voss's loan operations. By 11:15 a.m., they have a case file that would make a federal prosecutor weep with joy. Raymond loads everything onto a flash drive, prints executive summaries, and heads to police headquarters. He arrives at Sergeant Kowalski's office at 11:27 a.m. Linda watches the footage in silence. Her expression darkens. When it's over, she looks at Raymond. "This is slam dunk. Where did you get this?" "Better if you don't ask. The surveillance is from a concerned citizen monitoring criminal activity. The interior documentation is from a legitimate business inspection. Everything's legal. And the sources who ID'd the victims? Community contacts, nothing that compromises the case." Linda knows Raymond well enough to read between the lines. The Iron Brotherhood. She could press, could make this complicated, but 5 women are being held prisoner and the evidence is gift-wrapped. "I need 90 minutes for the warrant and team assembly," she says. "We'll execute at 1 p.m. I want you there as a consultant." "I'll be there." "Raymond, if this goes sideways, if there's any indication your people are planning vigilante action..." "We're not. We're handing this to you properly. The club wants legal justice, not street justice. You have my word. Linda studies him, then nods. All right, let's bring these women home. The clubhouse is silent despite holding 30 members. Riley sits in the war room, staring at the map where Chains has marked the warehouse with a red pin. Marcus sits beside him. They're going in 13 minutes, Marcus says quietly. The police. They'll get your mom out safely. Riley nods but doesn't speak. He's been quiet all morning, processing the information that his mother is alive but trapped, close but unreachable. The waiting is agony. Bear brings sandwiches that no one eats. Sarah tries to distract Riley with a card game, but his attention keeps drifting to the clock. At 12:52 p.m., Marcus's radio crackles. Raymond's voice. Team is staged 2 blocks out. Kowalski has the warrant. Moving in position now. Copy, Marcus says. He looks at Riley. This is it, kid. Another 8 minutes. What if something goes wrong? Then we have backup. But nothing's going to go wrong. The police know what they're doing. At 12:58 p.m., 3 unmarked police vehicles and 1 tactical van roll silently onto Industrial Boulevard. Sergeant Kowalski coordinates from the lead car, speaking calmly into her radio. 8 officers in tactical gear exit the van, moving with practiced precision. Wrench and Ramirez, still in their surveillance position, capture everything on video. At 1 p.m. exactly, Sergeant Kowalski and 2 officers approach the warehouse front entrance. She knocks. 3 hard official strikes. The guard opens the door. Yeah? South Oak Police. We have a warrant to enter and search these premises for evidence of human trafficking and unlawful imprisonment. Step aside. The guard's face goes pale. He reaches for his radio. One of the tactical officers steps forward. Don't. Hands where I can see them. The guard complies. Within 30 seconds, both exterior guards are detained, hands zip-tied, seated on the ground. The tactical team enters the warehouse. What happens next takes 4 minutes, but feels like hours to everyone watching and listening. Tactical officers secure the main warehouse space. No resistance, 1 interior guard surrenders immediately. They find the locked back room. Sergeant Kowalski orders it opened. The door swings wide. 5 women look up, startled, terrified. Then Cassandra sees the police uniforms and starts crying. You're safe, Kowalski says. We're here to help. Is anyone hurt? The women shake their heads, too overwhelmed to speak. Kowalski radios. We have 5 victims, all alive, with no immediate medical emergencies. Send EMTs for evaluation. Suspects in custody. At the clubhouse, Marcus hears Raymond's report through the radio and closes his eyes in relief. They got her. She's safe. Riley's face crumbles. My mom. She's safe, Riley. The police have her. She's okay. The boy starts sobbing, deep, racking cries that sound like they're tearing out of his chest. Marcus pulls him close, lets him fall apart, because Riley's been holding it together for 4 days and he's only 8 and he was so scared and now it's over. Bear wipes his eyes. Again, Sarah hugs Chains. The war room erupts in restrained celebration. Handshakes, back slaps, a few tears from members who've seen too much cruelty and needed this win. At 1:19 p.m., Eddie Voss is arrested at his home, still unaware that his operation was just raided. The look on his face when police inform him that they have video evidence, witness statements, and 5 victims willing to testify is, according to Raymond, priceless. At 1:34 p.m., Cassandra Mercer is transported to South Oak Medical Center for evaluation, standard protocol for trafficking victims. She's cleared medically after 2 hours, suffering only from exhaustion, dehydration, and acute stress. She's questioned, gives a detailed statement, and is told she's free to go. At 3:52 p.m., Raymond drives Cassandra from the hospital to the Iron Brotherhood clubhouse. Riley is standing in the clubhouse driveway when Raymond's car pulls up. He's been standing there for 30 minutes, refusing to go inside, too nervous to sit still. Marcus and Bear flank him, protective without hovering. The car stops. The back door opens. Cassandra Mercer steps out. She's wearing hospital-issue clothes. Her own were taken as evidence. Her hair is loose around her face, and she looks like she's been through a war. But she's alive, she's free, and when she sees Riley, her face transforms. Riley! Mom! They run to each other and collide in the driveway. Cassandra drops to her knees, wrapping her arms around her son, pulling him so close it looks like she's trying to absorb him. Riley clings to her, crying into her shoulder, saying, "Mom, Mom, Mom," like it's the only word he knows. Marcus watches from 15 feet away, his throat tight. This is why. This moment. This is why 53 people spent 4 days hunting, planning, documenting. This is why 500 bikers rode to South Oak yesterday. This is why the club exists. Cassandra looks up, still holding Riley, and sees the club members watching. She sees Marcus, recognizes him from the hospital photos Raymond showed her. The man who found her son, kept him safe, orchestrated her rescue. "You're Marcus," she says, voice rough from crying. "Yeah, they told me everything you did. You found Riley, you took care of him, you got me out. Why? You don't even know us." Marcus approaches slowly, non-threatening. "Because your son was alone in a parking lot, and I couldn't drive away. Everything else just followed from that." Cassandra stands, keeping one arm around Riley. She's 5'4", weighs maybe 120 pounds. Looks like a strong wind would knock her over. But Marcus sees steel underneath. This woman worked 2 jobs, raised a kid alone, survived Eddie Voss, and is still standing. "Thank you," Cassandra says. "Honey, I don't know how to. Thank you doesn't cover it." "You don't have to cover it. Seeing you two together is enough." Marcus gestures to the clubhouse. "We've got food, a place to sit, and about 30 people who want to make sure you're okay. No pressure, no expectations, just family if you need it." Cassandra looks at the clubhouse, the motorcycles, the leather-clad bikers standing around trying not to stare. She should be frightened. Most people are when they first encounter the club. But Riley is wearing his honorary vest, holding her hand, looking at these people with trust and affection. And her son's judgment has always been good. "Okay," she says. "I'd like that." They walk into the clubhouse together. The members part silently, showing respect. Sarah approaches with a plate of real food, not hospital cafeteria, but Bear's famous cheeseburgers, fries, and the kind of chocolate cake that fixes everything temporarily. Cassandra eats like someone who hasn't had real food in days, which is accurate. Between bites, she tells a story. "I left the hospital Friday morning, was going to sleep a few hours, then get Riley from school. But at the bus stop, a man approached me, said he could help with my rent problem. I owed $1,500, he could loan it to me, easy terms." She shakes her head. "I was so tired. I wasn't thinking straight. I said yes." "Eddie Voss?" Chains asked gently. "I didn't know his name then. He took me to the warehouse, said I just needed to sign paperwork. But once I was inside," her voice breaks. "They took my phone, locked the doors, told me I owed $1,800 now with interest, and the only way to pay was to work. After 3 days, they said. Just 3 days of work and I'd be clear. But 3 days would have turned into 3 weeks," Marcus says. That's how he operates. "I figured that out fast, but I couldn't leave. There were guards, and they said if I tried, they'd report me to police for fraud, say I stole from Voss. They said I'd go to jail and Riley would go into the system." Cassandra wipes her eyes. "I was so scared. I kept thinking about Riley waiting at school, at home, alone. I tried to escape twice. They caught me both times." Riley squeezes her hand. "You tried to come home." "Of course I did, baby. Every second I was there, I was trying." She looks at Marcus. "Then this morning, a cleaning crew came. One of them looked at me and mouthed, 'Riley is safe.' I found a phone in the bathroom an hour later. I was about to use it when the police arrived." She pauses, processing. "You did that. You sent the cleaning crew. You gave the police evidence. You kept my son safe while I couldn't. I don't, I don't understand why strangers would do that." Bear speaks up from across the room. "Because we're not strangers anymore. You're club family now. So is Riley. That means something here." Cassandra looks around at the faces. Grizzled bikers with gentle eyes, women with strong arms and kind smiles, men who look like they have done hard things but chose to do good things today. She sees Riley sitting comfortably among them, wearing that vest, looking more at peace than he has in months. "I don't know how to be part of this world," she says honestly. "Neither did any of us once," Sarah replies. "You learn." Mostly it's just showing up when someone needs help, same as anyone would. We just do it louder with more leather. That gets a weak laugh. Marcus leans forward. Cassandra, we need to talk about practical things. Your apartment, the rent situation. Voss mentioned you were behind. $1,500 behind. I have an eviction notice. That's why I was desperate enough to trust him. Handled, Marcus says. The club is covering your rent for the next 3 months. That gives you time to stabilize, find better work, figure things out without a knife at your throat. Cassandra starts to protest. I can't accept. You can. Consider it a birthday present for Riley. Also, we have contacts, legitimate contacts, at several businesses in the area. Better paying positions, single job options, instead of working yourself to death. No guarantees, but we can get your resume in front of people who owe us favors. I don't want charity. It's not charity. It's family helping family get back on their feet. You work hard, you've proven that. You just need one break. We're giving you that break. Cassandra looks at Riley, who's watching her with those two old eyes. She thinks about the hospital job at $14.50 an hour, the gas station overnight shifts, the constant exhaustion, the way she's been failing at motherhood despite trying so hard. She thinks about Eddie Voss and how close she came to disappearing entirely. And she thinks about this roomful of intimidating, gentle, impossible people who saved her life. Okay, she whispers. Thank you. Eddie Voss is charged with 5 counts of human trafficking, 6 counts of unlawful imprisonment, 3 counts of extortion, and 17 counts of loan sharking. His bail is set at $500,000, which he can't make. He'll await trial in county jail. The 5 women he held are all safe. 3 return to their families. 1 enters a shelter program. The 19-year-old, whose name is Keisha Williams, decides to testify against Voss publicly. Her testimony makes the local news, and suddenly Eddie Voss's operation is exposed to daylight it can't survive. The story spreads. 5 women rescued from modern slavery ring in South Oak. The Iron Brotherhood Motorcycle Club is mentioned in passing as having provided assistance to police, but the club doesn't seek attention. They got what they wanted, justice and safety. On Thursday afternoon, Cassandra takes Riley back to their apartment. It's clean, the rent is paid, and the refrigerator is mysteriously fully stocked. Sarah's doing. On the kitchen counter, there's an envelope with a job offer letter from Riverside Regional Hospital, promotion to patient care coordinator, daytime hours, $21.50 per hour, full benefits. Cassandra reads it twice, then sits down and cries. Riley hugs her. It's good crying, right? Yeah, baby, it's good crying. That evening, they visit the clubhouse, not because they have to, but because they want to. Riley shows his mom his new bicycle. Cassandra thanks Bear for the excessive amount of food. She talks with Sarah about job logistics and childcare options. The club has connections to an affordable after-school program. Marcus watches from across the yard, content. This is what victory looks like. Not dramatic, not perfect, but real. A mother and son together, safe, Ash with a chance at stability. Cassandra approaches him. Can we talk? They walk to a quiet corner of the yard. Cassandra looks nervous. I'm not good at this, she starts. Asking for help, accepting kindness, trusting people. I've been on my own for so long, but Riley keeps talking about the club, about you, about how he finally has a family, and I realize he's right. You gave him something I couldn't, a support system, people who show up. You gave him everything, Marcus says. Love, stability, work ethic. He's a great kid because of you. We just added to it. I want him to stay part of this. The club, I mean. If that's okay. He belongs here in a way I don't fully understand, but I see it. Marcus smiles. He's always welcome. Honorary member means for life. And honestly, Cassandra, you're welcome too. Well, you don't have to ride a motorcycle or wear leather. You just have to show up sometimes, let people care. I can try, she says. It's weird being cared about. You'll get used to it. They rejoin the group. Riley is teaching Wrench how to do a card trick, badly. Bear is grilling enough food to feed a small army. Sarah is showing Cassandra photos of club charity events, explaining how the club organizes annual toy drives, veteran support rides, and community cleanup days. It's ordinary, almost boring. just people hanging out on a Thursday evening. And that's the point. The club isn't always high-stakes rescues and dramatic confrontations. Mostly it's this: community, belonging, people who show up. February. Riley Mercer, now 8 and a half, stands in the South Oak Elementary gym for the school science fair. His project, a detailed diagram of motorcycle engine mechanics, complete with moving parts, sits on the table in front of him. The judges approach. Riley explains his project with confidence, using terminology he learned from Wrench and Bear. He talks about combustion chambers, piston displacement, and the difference between shovelhead and panhead engines. The judges are impressed by his technical knowledge and enthusiasm. Riley wins second place. He runs to the parking lot where Cassandra and Marcus are waiting. "Second place," he shouts, waving the ribbon. "Told you," Marcus says. "Bike knowledge is universal knowledge." They drive to the clubhouse for the Friday night dinner, a new tradition. Every Friday, club members who are available gather for a communal meal. It's loud, chaotic, and has become Riley's favorite part of the week. Cassandra has settled into her new job at the hospital. The hours are better, the pay is sustainable, and for the first time in years, she's building savings. She's paid back the club for the rent assistance. They tried to refuse, she insisted. And she started attending club events. She doesn't ride, but she helps organize the charity drives and has become close friends with Sarah. She's not alone anymore. Neither is Riley. Eddie Voss was convicted on 14 of 17 counts. He's serving 12 years in federal prison. The operation he ran is dismantled. The 5 women he trafficked have all moved forward with their lives in different ways, but they stay in loose contact, bonded by survival. Tonight at the clubhouse, Bear is teaching Riley how to change motorcycle oil, a messy, our hands-on lesson that has Riley covered in grease and grinning. Cassandra watches from the picnic table, talking with Sarah about the upcoming charity toy drive. Marcus stands at the edge of the yard watching the scene. Chains approaches. "You did good, Mark. Kid's thriving." "He did the work. We just showed up." That's all anyone needs sometimes. People who show up. They watch Riley successfully drain the oil pan, earning applause from Bear. The boy looks up, sees his mom smiling, sees the club members watching with approval, and his face lights up with pure joy. Marcus thinks about his own son, about the ways he failed, about the second chances life sometimes offers in unexpected forms. He thinks about a parking lot 4 months ago, a scared kid with a backpack, a decision to cross the street instead of driving away. And some rescues are dramatic, raids and confrontations and last-second victories. But some are quieter. Some are just showing up, standing guard, being present until the crisis passes and life can rebuild. Riley runs over, oil-stained and proud. "Marcus, did you see? I did it. I saw. Natural mechanic." Bear says if I keep learning, maybe someday I can help in the garage. Real work, not kid stuff. "You've been doing real work since I met you, kid. You just didn't know it yet." Riley hugs him, quick, spontaneous the way kids do, then runs back to Bear for the next lesson. Cassandra catches Marcus's eye from across the yard and mouths, "Thank you for the 1,000th time." Marcus nods. "You're welcome. For the 10,000th time." This is what the Iron Brotherhood is for. Not glory, not reputation, not myth-making. And this, a kid learning mechanics on a Friday night. A mother who can sleep without fear. A family rebuilt from broken pieces. 500 motorcycles came to South Oak that Sunday afternoon to show one boy he mattered. But the real story isn't the dramatic gesture. It's the quiet continuation. It's Riley coming to the clubhouse every week for 6 months. It's Cassandra slowly learning to trust again. It's 53 people who didn't walk away after the crisis ended. That's brotherhood. Not the roar of engines, though that helps. Not the leather and patches, though they mean something. Brotherhood is showing up on ordinary Fridays, teaching oil changes, making sure no one eats dinner alone. The sun sets over South Oak. The clubhouse yard fills with laughter and conversation. Riley gets more grease on his face. Home Bear pretends to be exasperated. Somewhere in the distance, a motorcycle engine roars to life. Someone heading out for an evening ride. Marcus Sullivan, 62 years old, president of the Iron Brotherhood Motorcycle Club for 19 years, watches his family gather and thinks, This. This is what I stayed for. And 3 blocks away at 742 Maple Court, apartment 3B, there's no eviction notice on the door. There's no fear in the air. There's just a clean apartment waiting for a mother and son to come home after dinner, together, safe, surrounded by people who showed up and never left. Riley is 9 now, almost 10. He stands in the clubhouse garage on a Saturday morning, wearing coveralls that are still too big, but that he refuses to replace because they were a gift from Wrench. He's helping repair a 1952 panhead that's been in pieces for 3 years. Hand me the Torque wrench, Wrench says. Riley knows which one it is without asking. He spent the past year learning, absorbing knowledge the way kids do when they're genuinely interested. He can identify motorcycle models by sound now, knows the difference between a 2-stroke and 4-stroke engine, understands basic mechanical principles better than some adults. But more than that, he's learned about family, the kind you choose, the kind that shows up. Cassandra arrives to pick him up, as she does every Saturday afternoon. She's dressed for the club's charity ride tomorrow. They're raising money for a children's hospital, and she's volunteered to help coordinate logistics. And she owns a motorcycle jacket now, gift from Sarah, and has attended enough events that the members just call her Cass. She doesn't ride, but she belongs. Ready, kiddo? She asks Riley. 5 more minutes, he pleads. We're almost done with the carburetor rebuild. She laughs. 5 minutes. Then we have to get home and prep your science project. Riley is entering the regional science fair this year. His project, The Engineering Evolution of Motorcycle Engines, 1920 to 2020. It's ambitious, thorough, and has Marcus's research assistants written all over it. As they work, Bear walks in with a visitor, a woman in her 30s with a nervous 13-year-old boy beside her. The boy has a black eye and that carefully neutral expression Riley remembers wearing 6 months ago. Bear catches Marcus's attention. Mark, and this is Teresa Gonzalez and her son David. They live on Maple Street. Teresa mentioned to Sarah that David's been having some trouble. Thought maybe we could help. Marcus approaches slowly, reading the situation. The boy's defensive posture, the mother's exhausted worry, the story he's seen before. What kind of trouble? Marcus asks gently. Teresa explains, David's father is in prison. They're struggling financially, and David's been getting into fights at school because bullies target him for his clothes, his situation, his vulnerability. She's trying, but she works 2 jobs and David's home alone too much. Riley stops working and listens. He sees himself in David's face. Marcus makes the same calculation he made a year ago. A kid who needs support, a mother who's trying, a situation where the club can help, not with drama or rescue this time, just with presence, mentorship, community. How about this, Marcus says. David, you ever wanted to learn about motorcycles? The boy shrugs, but there's interest in his eyes. We've got a youth mechanics program Saturday mornings. Teach basic skills, responsibility mechanics. It's free, includes lunch, and the only requirement is showing up and trying. Interested? David looks at his mother, who nods encouragingly. I get, he says, trying to sound indifferent, failing. Good. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., bring work clothes you can get dirty. Marcus turns to Teresa. And if you're interested, Sarah runs a job networking group for women in the community. Helps with resumes, interview prep, job leads. Might be useful. Teresa's eyes get wet. You'd help us? Just like that? That's what we do, Marcus says simply. Riley watches this interaction, understanding now what he couldn't a year ago. This is how it works. One person helps another. Who helps another? Creating a chain of support that holds communities together. The club didn't save him and his mom because they were special. They did it because it's what you do when you have the ability to help. After Teresa and David leave, with Sarah's contact information and a promise to return tomorrow, Riley approaches Marcus. That kid looks scared, Riley says. Yeah, like someone else I remember. Are you going to help him like you helped me? Going to try. Probably won't be as dramatic. No rescue missions needed this time. Just showing up, teaching mechanics, giving him a place to belong. Sometimes that's enough. Riley considers this. Can I help? Teaching him stuff, I mean. I know things now. Marcus smiles. Yeah, you do. And yeah, you can help. That's how this works. People help you, then you help the next person. It's a cycle. Like an engine, Riley says thoughtfully. Energy converts to motion. Motion does work. Work creates energy. It keeps going. Exactly like an engine. They return to the panhead. Riley's 5 minutes stretch to 20, but Cassandra doesn't complain. She's learned that time spent here isn't wasted. It's investment in her son's character, his confidence, his understanding that he belongs somewhere. When they finally leave, Riley waves goodbye to the club members. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, little brother, Bear calls back. In the car, Riley is quiet for a while. Then, Mom, do you think David will be okay? I think he'll have a better chance now, because of people like Marcus who don't walk away. We should help too, not just the club. You're right. What do you think we could do? Riley considers. Maybe I could show him around school, introduce him to people, so he's not alone. Cassandra reaches over and squeezes his hand. That's a really good idea, baby. Really good. They drive home through South Oak, past the elementary school where this story started, past Rosie's Diner, where Cassandra fell asleep over breakfast a lifetime ago, past the Lucky Dragon restaurant where Eddie Voss used to run his operation, now closed under new ownership, being renovated into a community center. The city looks the same but feels different, safer, more connected. At home, Riley works on his science project while Cassandra prepares dinner. It's ordinary, mundane, perfect. No drama, no crisis, just a Thursday evening in March. Riley's phone buzzes, a text from Bear. Tomorrow's lesson, wheel bearing maintenance. Bring your focus and your questions. Proud of you, kid. Riley smiles and texts back. I'll be there. Thanks, Uncle Bear. Uncle. The word came naturally, without planning, because that's what Bear is now, what they all are. Uncles, aunts, family assembled from choice instead of blood. Cassandra sees the text over his shoulder and doesn't correct him, because it's true. Riley Mercer, 13 years old, stands in the South Oak Elementary parking lot on a Friday afternoon. He's not waiting for his mother. He has his learner's permit now, and she'll teach him to drive soon. He's waiting for someone else. And a small girl, maybe 7, sits on the curb by the school entrance. It's 4:30 p.m. The parking lot is empty. Riley recognizes the situation immediately. He approaches slowly. Hey, you waiting for someone? The girl nods, not looking up. How long you been here? Since school ended. Riley sits on the curb, a respectful distance away. That's a while. You have a phone to call? She shakes her head. Riley pulls out his phone and calls Marcus. Hey, there's a kid at my old elementary school. Been waiting since dismissal. No ride, no phone. Can you come? Be there in 10 minutes, Marcus says without hesitation. Riley stays with the girl, talking gently, asking her name, Sophie, her grade, 2nd, her favorite subject, art. He doesn't leave. He doesn't drive away, because he remembers how it feels to be alone in a parking lot, watching the sunset, wondering if anyone's coming. Marcus arrives on his Softail, a different bike but the same man, now 67, still riding, still showing up. Riley briefs him quietly while Sophie watches with cautious eyes. Marcus kneels to her level. Sophie, I'm Marcus. Riley called me because he was worried about you. We're going to help figure this out. Sound okay? Sophie nods, and the cycle continues. Another kid, another parking lot, another moment when someone chooses not to drive away. Riley watches Marcus work, making calls, staying calm, keeping Sophie safe. He sees himself 5 years ago, scared and alone, saved by a stranger who became family. He thinks about David, who's 16 now and working part-time in Bear's garage, building his own motorcycle. He thinks about the dozens of other kids who've come through the club's youth program over the years, learning mechanics and confidence and belonging. He thinks about how one decision, Marcus crossing a parking lot on a Friday afternoon, created ripples that spread outward, touching lives in ways no one could have predicted. An hour later, Sophie's aunt arrives. tracked down through school records and persistence. She's frantic, apologetic. Sophie's mother was in a car accident, non-fatal but chaotic, and communication broke down. Sophie is safe, Theon is grateful, and the crisis resolves. But Riley learned something today. He learned that the story never really ends. There's always another parking lot, another kid, another moment when someone has to choose whether to look away or step forward. And he learned that he's ready to step forward, because that's what family does. That's what the Iron Brotherhood taught him. Not through speeches or rules, but through example, day after day, year after year. As Marcus and Riley ride away from the school, Riley on the back of the Softail, still not old enough for his own bike, but someday soon, Marcus speaks over his shoulder. "You did good today, calling me instead of trying to handle it alone." "I remembered what you did for me," Riley calls back. "Figured it was time to pass it forward." "That's exactly right." They ride through South Oak as the sun sets, casting long shadows across familiar streets. The clubhouse ahead, where Bear is already grilling dinner, and Sarah is organizing tomorrow's charity event, and Wrench is arguing about carburetors with anyone who'll listen. Home. One not the apartment on Maple Court, though that's home too, but this, the compound, the people, the family assembled from broken pieces and held together by choice. Riley thinks about the scared 7-year-old he used to be, standing in a parking lot with a Spider-Man backpack, wondering if anyone would come. They came. 500 engines roaring, one old biker crossing the street, 53 people saying, "You matter," and now he's part of that answer for someone else. The cycle continues. The engine runs. Energy to motion, to work to energy, perpetual as long as people show up. That's the real story. Not the rescue, though that mattered. Not the reunion, though that was beautiful. The real story is what happens after. The quiet continuation, the ordinary Fridays, the next kid who needs help, and the person who stops to give it. Riley Mercer learned that at 8 years old in a motorcycle clubhouse in South Oak, and he'll carry it for the rest of his life. Because some lessons are taught through words, but the best ones, the ones that actually change people, are taught through action, through showing up, through 500 engines saying you're not alone, through one man deciding not to drive away. If you've ever felt alone, remember somewhere, there are people who would show up for you if they knew you needed them. Sometimes you just have to let them see. This story is for every kid who waited too long in a parking lot, every parent who did their best with impossible circumstances, and every person who chose to cross the street instead of looking away.